Alright everyone, hello and welcome. How's everyone doing today? Hopefully you're doing well. Welcome to today's first of two gameplay streams. I, of course, am Darkside Phil, and you are watching my first shot and attempt at the Star Wars Battlefront beta on the PlayStation 4. If you're not aware, this launched today. Today is actually Thursday, October 8th, 2015. And this was made publicly available pretty much on all platforms. You can get this on PSN, you can get this on Xbox Live, you can get it on off of Steam, I believe, on PC right now. And so everyone's talking about it. Everyone's, trying it out today, playing it. I think a lot of people were wondering, what is this game going to be like? Because a big thing of speculation earlier this year, if you guys remember, is that EA, having this franchise, owning this franchise, and having a lot of negativity around this game during its production. A lot of people saying, wow, so it seems like this Battlefront game is going to have less content than the previous ones. For those who don't know, there was a Star Wars Battlefront 1 and 2 that were previously released in around, I believe it was around the mid-2000s, maybe even a little earlier than that, like the first half of the 2000s. I'm not 100% on that. I know that they eventually got ported to, like, the PS2, and that was the biggest console at the time. So it was definitely before the era of the Xbox 360 and the PS3. I personally played both Battlefront games on PC and loved them. The games ran amazingly on PC. They ran at 60 frames per second. They looked gorgeous. They were fun as hell. You could play as the heroes and villains from the Star Wars lore. You could play as little generic guys. You could do giant-ass battles. Later on, they implemented all these vehicles and stuff. It was a pretty damn good game series. And then it went away. And I think the reason it went away is because the Battlefront license, the Star Wars license, was changing hands. If you remember, it was within LucasArts, and then it was going around different places. And it was uncertain where these games were going to go. In fact, Disney at one point said they weren't going to make any more Star Wars video games. And everyone was like, what the shit? So it was very uncertain. And now, finally, Star Wars Battlefront in development. But then as we were getting more information about the game, you were finding some disturbing stuff. For example, they were like, oh, at launch it's only going to have this many maps. At launch there will be no space battles. At launch there will be none of this, none of that. And everyone was kind of like, huh? And I think it was announced, like, at launch, there'll only be 4 heroes. Like, 2 good guys and 2 bad guys. And everyone was like, what? Like, wait a minute. That's, like, an insanely huge step backward from the previous 2 games, if it's true. And, that's the thing. You gotta take all this information with a grain of salt. If this is what you're just hearing as buzz, but you're not really getting it definitively from the developer as, yes, black and white, this is what you're getting on release day, it can cause a lot of confusion. It obviously could cause a lot of rumor. And I think that's really what happened with Star Wars Battlefront's development here. Okay, so FYI, Star Wars Battlefront actually releases November 17th. So here we are a little bit more than a month ahead of time. Okay, and everyone's hyped and excited. A few media outlets actually got keys to play the beta early this week. So they were playing it earlier, built up hype for the game. And now today the beta is public. And I'm excited to try it out, because, like I said, I was a major fan of the first 2 games, and I want to see, what they've done with this one. In addition, as you know, next month, the new Star Wars, I'm sorry, I don't know if it's next month or December, I apologize, it might actually be December. The new Star Wars franchise is launching, The Force Awakens, right? And so there's going to be so much hype and hoopla around Star Wars. To have a cool Star Wars tie-in video game would be awesome. I think that's how a lot of people are approaching Star Wars Battlefront's release next month, which is awesome. And, I am a fan of Star Wars. Am I the most hardcore, crazy-ass fan of Star Wars? No. But I am overall a fan, and it was actually during the era of the 1990s, before the prequel trilogy launched, so before The Phantom Menace. There was like a 2-year period where the original trilogy of Star Wars movies was being re-released in theaters. And I went and saw them in theaters with my parents. I loved it. I became a collector of the Star Wars figures, which became hugely popular at the time. And they were, that was that era of comic books, action figures. All that pop culture stuff was very popular and very valuable. And I got caught up in it. And so, you know, that's when I got caught up in the Star Wars era. And then, unfortunately, I hate to say it, but the prequel trilogy launched and it kind of deflated a lot of people. A lot of people who were, like, heavily into Star Wars during the 90s kind of were like, well, screw this, if this is where it's going. And I kind of lost my Star Wars hype during that time period and never really got it back, honestly. I mean, like I said, I like Star Wars. I love playing the first 2 Battlefront games, but it wasn't like I was a Star Wars junkie and I needed everything Star Wars. In fact, it still remains I haven't played Knights of the Old Republic 1 or 2. I tried to play Knights of the Old Republic last year, and it didn't go too well. The game refused to continuously work on my PC. But, you know, it is what it is. I enjoy Star Wars. I'm interested in the new movie, but I think everyone is kind of approaching Star Wars Battlefront with an air of skepticism. Because it is being published by EA, because we heard all this information previously that half the stuff that was in the original 2 games is not in this, you know. So, we'll see. I'm interested. I'm happy that this came out and it is a public beta. I'll be playing this for around 2.5 hours here. So hopefully there's a variety of modes we'll be testing out to see what exactly is in the game. I'm excited to see how it runs on PS4 because I will be playing the console version this time around. I don't have a gaming rig PC that can both capture and stream these great games at high quality at the same time, so we'll see. That's what this first stream is today. Later tonight, ladies and gentlemen, will be more Transformers Devastation, and I'm thinking probably another 2 streams of that game, and I'll finish it up. So I'm looking forward to that tonight. I hope you'll join me tonight for more Transformers. Tomorrow is kind of up in the air. What I'd like to do is hopefully beat Transformers tomorrow and get it out of the way. But at the same time, I'm debating what else I should play. If this beta's really good, maybe I'll play this again tomorrow. If not, maybe I'll go to Disgaea 5. If not, if people want to see more Metal Gear Online, maybe I'll do that. I'm not sure. I'm not sure what tomorrow's going to be yet. So we'll find out based on your feedback, right? On what happens today, I guess, okay? That'll determine tomorrow. Alright, so we're about to get started. But I'll do my gratuitous plugs. Let's get these out of the way. First of all, thank you to all of you who did pledge to my Patreon in the month of September. We did hit our funding goal, and therefore we are doing a Halloween Games Marathon at the end of this month on October 31st on Halloween. It's going to be fun. And right now, the patrons are nominating games on which they're going to vote which horror-themed games I should be playing during that marathon. Now, if you are a patron who messaged me in the past week with your information, don't worry, I've gotten all your messages. I just haven't had a chance to do anything with them yet. I'm hoping that by this weekend, I'll get all those together. We'll get your accounts upgraded. We'll get all the perks going, okay? So that's coming up this weekend. FYI, I'll start working on that. But yeah, pretty shortly, within, say, a week or two, I'll be setting up my Patreon goals for the month of October. I haven't even mentioned it yet, you know, because we've been busy with the new games. It's been a slow start to the month, and I've been focusing on some other stuff. So we'll see what happens with that, but I'll talk more about that later in the month, all right? The other gratuitous plug is for my girlfriend Leanna's soap making and handmade wax tart melt business, where you can get some really high quality, great smelling, you know, really nice glycerin soaps, or some nice wax tart melts that you can melt and make your house smell great, and they're a great alternative to a candle that's an open flame. If you have like a pet or something and you don't really want to have an open flame in your house, wax tart melts are a great alternative, and they're actually cheaper overall. So check it out. She has her own business. It is a legally registered business. She's been operating it all year. She's 1 order away from hitting 100 orders, which was actually her goal for the entire year. Check it out. It's called The Black Currant, and you can find it at etsy.com/shop/The Black Currant. I'm actually going to put a link to that into the stream chat. You know, she's really hoping to get this 100th order. She's been waiting and waiting and waiting for about almost a week now. And it seems like there's just a dead week, which happens. It happens with all businesses. Some businesses you one week you'll get a ton of orders, and one week you'll have a lull for whatever reason. She recently just launched her fall line of product, and it has all these cool fall-related scents, including some male-oriented scents, meaning like smells that men would like, not all fruity and stuff like that, but some good stuff that I helped her pick. So check it out at The Black Currant. You know, it's a great shop. And it's a good thing not only if you're looking for stuff for yourself, but gifts for your family, your relatives, your friends, your significant other. It's a nice place. And right now she's actually working on making product for the winter line, which she's going to be launching, I believe, either in November or December. I'll have to confirm that with her, but check it out, all right? And then last but not least, everyone, I have an idea based off of feedback, based off of overall some stuff that people have been talking about, and let me put it this way. I think I want to mix some stuff up. I think that I want to change up a few things. And what I mean by that is probably it wouldn't happen fully by the end of this year. But what I'm thinking of in 2016 is possibly doing some different stuff. Meaning, as you know, all of my content pretty much right now is released on DSPGaming on YouTube. Including my streaming, my raw gameplay, montages, year-end series, every once in a while a vlog here or there. And I think the problem is that a lot of stuff gets lost in the shuffle. Now, vlogging content, I've already separated, and that's over on my channel, The King of Hate Vlogs, right? We've got the Week in Preview, we've got my Hate Live podcast, we've got the Ask the King Q&A series, my DSP Tries It series, and that's great, and it has an audience over there. But I really feel that there's potential for me to do better stuff in regards to maybe more highly edited content, and I tried it out this year, and it was successful for a couple months until, unfortunately, after a couple months, a lot of people said, well, you know, it's kind of lost in the shuffle. You do a fun montage of the best and worst of the month, and you put it up on DSPGaming, but then there's 400 more gameplay videos that come out that next week, and it really doesn't get a lot of attention. So I've got an idea of something that I might do. I'm debating it, and I'm talking with Machinima about it right now. And I'll talk more about this as we reach the end of the year. Okay, but let me put it this way. If this works, I think this is a good way for me to actually get a lot more attention on YouTube via some different kind of content rather than me constantly just do raw gameplay, raw gameplay, raw gameplay. It's kind of the idea I had earlier this year that I tried, but it didn't really work, I think, because it was all implemented in the same place. We'll talk a little bit more about that later in the year. I want to hear back from Machinima, honestly, before I really get anyone's hopes up, but I'm interested in maybe mixing things up come later this year or early next year, okay? So we'll see. Alright. Okay, so that is it for the pre-stream. Thanks, everyone, for being here. Let's get started. Let's see what this Battlefront is all about. I'm curious to see what they do. I really am. And I think that we should stop waiting. We should jump right in. What do you think? Excited? I'm excited. Alright, without further ado, let's go for the Star Wars Battlefront beta. Here we are.